The idea of taking Yerevan from Azerbaijan and giving it to Armenia was first brought up in 1912. After the promises of the world's great powers to establish an Armenian state in the northwestern territories of Turkey failed, the Armenian elite turned their eyes to Yerevan. Negotiations were held between the Armenian National Council and the Azerbaijani National Council for this purpose. The Azerbaijani representatives agreed to the declaration of an Armenian state in Yerevan on the condition that the Armenians renounce their claims to other Azerbaijani territories, Nakhchivan and Karabakh. The Armenian side accepted this condition, and based on mutual agreement, Yerevan was ceded to the Armenians. However, it is also true that the Azerbaijani National Council, which unilaterally approved and formalized the agreements reached in Batum regarding the Yerevan issue, did not have the authority to make decisions on this matter during its meeting on May 29, 1918. At the meeting on May 29, 1918, only 20 out of the 44 members of the Azerbaijani National Council were present, and among these 20 members, 16 voted in favor of ceding Yerevan, 1 voted against it, and 3 abstained. A decision on such an important issue as territorial concessions could only be made with a 2/3 majority of the National Council members. However, less than 50% of the National Council members attended this meeting. In this sense, the decision made at the Azerbaijani National Council meeting on May 29, 1918, cannot be considered legitimate. Nevertheless, Yerevan became the capital of the first Armenian state established in the Caucasus. Following this, the Armenians presented Yerevan as an ancient Armenian city and continued to make claims on Azerbaijan's Nakhchivan and Karabakh regions. Between 1920 and 1921, with the crude interventions of Soviet Russia, first Sharur Daralagez, then part of western Zangezur and Borshali, and between 1929 and 1930, southern Zangezur, Zangilan, and some villages of Ordubad were gifted to the Armenian SSR. Thus, Armenia, created at the expense of Azerbaijani territories and covering an area of 10,000 square kilometers in 1918, expanded its territory to 29,000 square kilometers by 1930, again at the expense of Azerbaijani lands. However, Armenians who continued to make territorial claims against Azerbaijan caused the outbreak of a bloody war in Karabakh at the end of the 20th century and occupied Azerbaijani territories. However, in 2020, the Azerbaijani army liberated Karabakh from Armenian occupiers. Armenians still frequently bring up the idea of a greater Armenia from sea to sea, which implies territorial claims not only on Azerbaijan, but also on Turkey, Georgia, and Iran.